today. This is your 420 Radio News for Friday, April 11th, 2014. I'm Russ Belville. Feds okay pot background checks by Washington State from ABC News. After a year of requests, the U.S. Justice Department said Thursday it is giving Washington State access to an FBI database so it can conduct nationwide background checks on people who apply to run legal marijuana businesses. Washington State officials started asking last April for permission to run the checks. Without explanation, the federal agency declined to respond, even though it had allowed similar checks on medical marijuana licensees in Colorado. Washington State eventually started issuing licenses without the nationwide background checks. The discrepancy highlighted the difficulty the feds face as they allow the states to experiment with regulating a drug that's long been illegal under federal law. The Obama administration has said it wants the states to make sure pot revenue doesn't go to organized crime and that state marijuana industries don't become a cover for the trafficking of other illegal drugs. At the same time, federal authorities don't want to actually help the states violate federal law. The DOJ's statement Thursday emphasized that while the FBI maintains the database, states that want to license medical or recreational marijuana operations will be doing the checks themselves. Group pushes to end Oklahoma's ban on medical marijuana from newson6.com. An Oklahoma group is taking a step toward legalizing medical marijuana in the state. Oklahomans for Health will file an application for petition with the Secretary of State Friday, hoping to put the legalization of medical marijuana up for a statewide vote. Oklahoma's current ban on medical marijuana for medical purposes has some families so desperate they're leaving the state, like little Jackie Angel Warrior and her family. Jackie is living with a very rare and potentially deadly form of epilepsy. At 20 months old, she's already been hospitalized 25 times and has up to 150 seizures a day. Her mom said Jackie has tried every anti-seizure drug allowed in Oklahoma with no success and no relief. Her doctor, Hardy, says Jackie's doctor agrees the little girl's only hope is medical marijuana. Jackie's parents say their little one takes two different narcotics. She said, quote, one of them she's physically addicted to. She's been addicted to it since she was 6 months old. We would literally be arrested if we didn't give it to her, end quote. If the state gives Oklahomans for Health the green light on starting a petition, Paul said the plan would be to kick off the initiative June 1st. Then they will have 90 days to gather 190,000 signatures. Medical marijuana could be good for business in Florida from watchdog.org. The medical marijuana industrial complex is in full swing in Florida. With the question of legalizing medical marijuana apparently heading to voters on the November 4th ballot, entrepreneurs are popping up in an effort to get in on the ground floor of the movement. 18 medical marijuana companies have registered with the state this year. Medical Marijuana of Brevard County, Medical Marijuana Business Lawyers, and Medical Marijuana Centers of Florida, Inc. are among the first positioning to take advantage of the boom. The medical marijuana referendum, if approved, would allow for the cultivation, purchase, possession, and use of medical marijuana to treat certain medical conditions when prescribed by a physician. The Office of Economic and Demographic Research of Florida says anywhere from 400,000 to 1.3 million Floridians may qualify for medical marijuana. Moody's ups its estimate for legal pot revenues in Colorado by 40% from the Washington Post. Colorado will see a bigger tax haul from legalizing marijuana than first projected, according to a new Moody's report. The credit rating agency had initially estimated the state would make $70 million from the first full year of legal pot sales, but increased that estimate to $98 million in a Friday report. The governor initially predicted a $70 million haul, but nearly doubled that in February, estimating revenues of $134 million in fiscal 2015. The legislature predicts something closer to $77 million. The state collected $7.5 million over the first 2 months, which would imply revenues of $45 million for the first full year, but only a limited number of shops were open when sales began on January 1st. Supply was limited, and some localities still couldn't issue licenses. Denver hotel hits guest with $200 charge for pot in room. From the New York Daily News. A Texas stoner had nearly $200 go up in smoke when he left a stash of weed behind at a Denver hotel after a recent snowboarding trip. Lewis, who didn't give his last name, said he left a small amount of pot and a bubbler pipe behind when he checked out of the Hyatt Place Denver Cherry Creek because he didn't want to fly home with them. Marijuana is legal in Colorado, but not Texas. It's also against the law to bring drugs on an airplane. I figured I'd leave it behind on the desk in case the maid wanted it. You know, positivity, Louis said. He called the hotel and told he was charged for smoking in his room, but he said he had never smoked in the room, complained on Twitter, and the hotel reversed the charge. This has been your 420 Radio News for Friday, April 11th, 2014. I'm Russ Belville. When we come back, we'll go behind the headlines and answer the age-old question, does marijuana make you a better musician? You're listening to The Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org. We'll be right back.